Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
All right, you guys set up and ready?
Audio Jungle.
3, 2, 1, stop.
Audio Jungle.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Homework Club is back. There's a link in the chat. Hello everyone. Hello Todd, Cheese, Wacom, Potato, Todd. Everyone's here. The whole crew. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we're doing another session of Homework Club. For those of you who might have missed it the first time, you have a second chance. A new lease on life. So check it out. It's basically a meetup where we meet up every other Thursday evening for like 2 months, and you basically just, like that description said, you create a project that plan a project of any size, and then like cut it up into a few pieces and just try to deliver on those different milestones, and we just check in and give each other feedback, and it's a nice way to like stay motivated and get some stuff done. I have always have a number of little side projects that are just stay theoretical for a long time until I actually decide to act on them, if I ever do that. So this is a good way to kind of jumpstart that process. So how is everybody doing? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Wacom Experience Center stream. I'm this time around on Homework Club, I'm just going to try out it's free this time around. There's a donation option, which basically just goes to my operational fees of of my kombucha as I attend Homework Club. So you can think of it as like a tip, but you don't have to do that. So we're just gonna try to I'm just gonna see if we can get more people that way, just so there's like no barrier to entry. So yeah, there's 20 spots available. It'll go fast. So get in there. Cool. What are we doing today? I made this ink drawing last night. I will scan it in here. It's like this girl in a mech suit. That's all you need to know. That constitutes a drawing. Girl in a mech suit. I just want to do some like weird fashion sort of look, and then just like exoskeleton, and she has like a big screwdriver and a giant hand, and I'm just like, I think it would be like some kind of underwater like structural repair person in the oceans of Neptune, or does Neptune have oceans? I don't know. That's just the mythology. Planet with oceans. So I'm gonna scan it in, and I'm gonna color it. I'm gonna touch it up also, because I screwed up some of the sections of it. I'm gonna get real close to the camera here. Get over to my scanner. Oceans of methane. Yeah. Perfect. Liquid methane, that's a thing, I think. I didn't do well in science class. I always, I mean, I wanted to be good at science because science is cool, but when it came to like actual, just like chemistry and stuff like I took physics in high school and I was pretty bad at it. All right. That's what you do when you're bad at everything else. You do art. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Waiting for scanner. I'm showing the beginning to the end here. Full process. You could probably take a picture. Ooh, that looks bad. I think it's just a preview scan. It looks whack. Do 300 DPI. That would be like if you just wanted to print it at its size, you'd want to do 300 DPI. You could, if you want to blow it up, you could scan it at a higher resolution, but like it never looks as good, I don't think. So I'm just gonna do it this way. There's like some bits where I used a pen. Sorry, I used a pen for the whole thing, and then I screwed up the hand, and I used some gouache, or like acrylic paint. Actually, it's acrylic gouache. Let me pull it up. It's my favorite paint. This is my show and tell. So it's this company called Holbein. It's a Japanese company, and they make this thing called acrylic gouache, which is basically a matte acrylic, or sorry, a matte acrylic. So it dries, waterproof, and it has a matte finish, and it's water soluble. So. Alright, scan it in. This goes somewhere. Open Photoshop. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can, there's so much. There's so much to do. You just have to choose a thing and be okay at it. My thing is drawing mechs. I'm okay at it. Alright, let me find where that scan went. Yeah, you could be good at being mediocre too. Alright, I'm gonna attempt to draw with the Cintiq in its upright position. so that you guys don't have to use the posture button on me, but we'll see. I'm already like trying to adjust it. Posture, you did it anyway. Why did this? Sorry, let me get my dock out of the way. That chair. Oh, my squeaky chair. Yeah. Yeah, everyone has their cool gamer chairs, but I use like a wicker chair. It's like a squeaky ass old like family heirloom sort of. And then like my stepdad like re-wickered it or something and like did kind of a bad job. But it's just old and creaky, but it's got character and no support. My back is in pain. Ooh, creaky chair fam. We know what's up. All right. Okay, so there are some parts to this that are unfortunate. I won't point them out. There's some parts that because I was just drawing with a pen. I'm just gonna plug all the art supplies that I'm using. Stapler. I mean, the nice thing about drawing on paper is that I couldn't Control Z because that's how I never get anything done, is I just Control Z like every line that I make. So this way I'm just like forced to actually draw something and like kind of roll with it. So that's nice. But then there's other parts where I'm like, you know, you mess up and you're like, I'll fix it in post, basically. So there's some stuff I'm gonna fix in post here. Yeah, first I'm going to do the one hard skill that I learned from school, which is taking the background color, or removing the white from, separating the line art from the background. So I'm using levels right now. I'm gonna try to get it to where I'm not just totally crushing the darks or the kind of blowing out and losing information like either way. So I'm just gonna kind of slide these around. I think the like paint smears, those I'm not gonna be able to get rid of. Maybe I could if I really crushed it. Maybe that's fine. I'm losing a little bit of information when I do that, but I don't think I care. So, because there's also I did a lot of little like scratchy marks to kind of like pseudo pencil my way like throughout the drawing, where I would just like use little like light dots and stuff to try to like figure out what I was drawing. But yeah, exactly. When I do draw, it's Stadler. That was the Dos Equis reference. I forgot how it went, honestly, so. Okay. Let's just do that. And then, let's see. Oh, I'm kind of in the way. But I'll show how this goes. I think we've showed this a few times. Alright, so you copy this layer and all of its contents. Go over to channels. Make a new channel. Paste this in. There's a little thing down here. It's like the marching ants. It's called load channel as selection. And then you go back to your layers, make a new layer, select inverse, and then you fill it with black. Okay. And I'm just going to test it out with a color. Okay, cool. We're just trying to get it where we can color behind the line art, so looks good. Okay, that's it. It's the Carter secret. The trade secret that I'm giving out for free. I'm gonna start concealing information. Otherwise, everyone will surpass me. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give everything I know. I'm gonna duplicate the line art just so I have like an original that I can refer to, but I am going to go in here and I'm gonna clean up certain sections. The first thing I'm gonna do is clean up this thumb because it is a bad shape and I won't say anything more than that. I mean, I'm going to keep the shape roughly the same, but I'm just going to, like, the details need to change on that. Now, I do need to find a pen that kind of mimics what I had going on with my traditional pen. So I'm going to look through the bajillion pens brought to you by Kyle Webster, the one and only. Let's see. Scritchy pen. That sounds like something I would like. It's pretty darn close. I might have just nailed it on the first try. Rather, Kyle nailed it. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll with that. Scritchy pen looks pretty much identical to what we were doing. Yeah, you know, there's always a chance that people can misconstrue it however they want, but this one was just a little overtly, like, suspect. I'm trying to think of a narrative for this thumb. Thumb needs to be extra reinforced. Don't like this eraser. clean up some of these bits where I wasn't really committing to anything. I want to also, like this hand that's inside of the hand, I'm going to clean this up because I can't always draw a good hand the first time around. In fact, you never can. Hands, am I right? Oh, Todd. Okay. I mean, still, we'll see. See if a second try is even. It's very stylized hand. How do thumb work? Maybe. Good enough. Good enough for me. I want this to be like glass right here. So it's gonna be pretty wild. Although there isn't really that in any other instance on the mech. Unless I gave her like a helmet. A little space bubble. Oh. So I did say underwater. But I feel like it's kind of cliche. I like it less than like the open top convertible mech. It's just, I just disassociate. I just black out as I see all the puns coming from Todd. Oh my god, they're still coming. Todd, save some of these. You're gonna tire yourself out. It's just like, oh my god. The Todd bot overloads. We love you, Todd. We love you. You do you. See, this is where I was proud of myself for getting this drawing done in like a relatively quick amount of time, and then this is when I don't get things done in time because I'm just like, I'm gonna zoom in like to 100% magnification or like 1,000,000,000% magnification and just draw this detail that no one will notice. just erase this all. There's nothing salvageable here. I want it to be on this kind of like rail. This feels very Pacific Rim to me, from what I remember that movie. I think I only saw it once when it came out. I should probably turn smoothing off, otherwise, because I didn't have smoothing in RL. I wasn't able to turn smoothing on. When I was using an ink pen, so I should probably just keep that off. Thank you. It is quite a handful. It's a full-time job managing this chat. Let's see. Why? What do I keep doing? Chat pause. Okay, I was not scrolled down. I see. Hydrate. Got my mug. Control Z is live. Draw some weird like pattern in here. It's all just, I'm like, how would this work functionally? I'm like, none of this would work functionally. It's all just supposed to be cool. Cool factor always wins. Start a lurk. Start a lurk. I'm sorry this is a one-way me talking at people. I mean, not really because you're in the chat, but I guess yeah, if you're away from your desk and drawing, I'm just going to be talking at you. But you know who should start a drink and draw or just, you know, hydrate and draw? Here for cheese. But under the Wacom name, of course. I'm assigning you. Are you supposed to? Well, no. But you've talked about wanting to do it. I feel like, or you've suggested me to do it in conjunction with Homework Club. But I think it should just be its own thing. But you have a lot on your plate, so maybe I'll coordinate it. Okay, I'm done. Done with this hand. Okay, see, it does look cool. I am adding things. I'm in the task manager, just like typing away at everything we could do. Something to think about. All right. What else? What else did I F up? Am I allowed to say that on the stream? I don't know. What else did I frack up? That's the Battlestar Galactica way there. Just gonna cut away into this shape a little. So I'm just gonna try to leave a little white space. It's hard for me to resist just packing every possible area with like detail and lines. Let's see. Alright, whatever. I just want to describe these weird forms that I'm creating. So if I don't add a bunch of detail, people are just like, what is that? Okay. And then I think the last thing I goofed up is the face. the one actual part. So it looks kind of like a cyclops right now. Let me see if I can remedy this. The eye just needs to move over. And then yeah, I kind of leave her at, she kind of has this like slight like underbite thing going on, but I think it looks cool. It looks tough. I wonder, I always mess this up. Let me see, like, what? No, okay. I'm just trying to do this, like, let me see if this, like, needs, if this calls for, like, a 3/4. I feel like I need to show more of her face, but I know it's just like, no, that looks bad. Nope. Let's see if like a line. Perchance. Yeah, I think that helps, actually. Just gonna... Okay. Joan of Arc vibes, that's cool. Going for strength here. And is like, I feel like I draw this haircut quite a bit. This pen is not good for erasing. Another route. I'm gonna Control Z this. Let's see. I guess I could do a mask. Let's paint with a mask, non-destructive. Ah. Excuse me. Oh, it's because I had the eraser on? Yeah. I'm just gonna see what alternatively. Basically just haircut. But see, then I would have to draw a face. Or, because the hair kind of, just the darkness of it sort of masks, like, I don't know, I feel like I just have to describe the face less if I have the hair kind of in the background there, but this is working, I suppose. So now I would kind of have to draw like can't tell which one I like. Do we like the bob or the haircut? Bob, haircut. Bob. Cool. Let's do that. All right, it's unanimous. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Haircut feels like Ridley from Alien. Okay. Oh yeah, and then the last thing that I had to mess with is this. One of these feet is severely twisted. Oh, I think I got rid of my... No, it's still there. This foot. These were the last thing I drew, like 20 minutes leading up to the stream. I was like, no, I have to do the feet. And I just kind of rushed through them. I do kind of like these weird, like, ice cube blocks that are going on. got the perspective kind of off on this one. Like, it's definitely all of it is. There are parts that are flatter than others, but like there's still volume happening. So it doesn't all have to be like 100% believable, you know, but I just want it to look like it all makes sense in relation to all of its other parts. I think this is a pretty easy fix. It's just like no, it's too much bulk. Okay. Cool. Bob. Our friend Bob. Had a Costco hot dog today. It was wonderful. Haven't had one of those in a while, but my partner went and got some groceries after our week of being snowed in and just living off like frozen food. Yeah, it was delicious. It's gonna keep me going through this whole stream. Alright, I guess I'll color it. I'm trying to just stall, if you can't tell. Kind of a headache. I don't know if I'm dehydrated or what. Maybe I didn't get enough caffeine. Hydrate. I just ran out of water. Just dust comes out of the cup into my mouth. I have some paint water I could drink. I'll have to take a break. Maybe at the hour mark, take a break and re-up on some water. Okay. I'm gonna get into this. Where is that layer? Okay. Yeah, exactly. Just like bits of drywall, into my cup, into my mouth. There's this. I'm sure people are aware of it. I don't like watching it because it makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's mostly just sad, and I don't really get the appeal of it. But I did see this like episode of like Strange Addictions where someone was addicted to eating drywall, and I kind of get it. Like the texture is probably good, but yeah, I mean that's pretty bad. There's some pretty heinous ones on there. Like I said, not a comforting show, in my opinion. Yeah, it's kind of like, I imagine kind of like those like wafers where it's like kind of that waffle texture, kind of like pink, strawberry, or there's vanilla or chocolate. Those like wafers with the little layers of like kind of like frosting or whatever, like filling, kind of Oreo filling. Like those little wafer sandwiches. It'd be like that, but with like that kind of wafery, but then it'd be just like a layer of like glue and like a layer of like insulation. Just like, little sandwich. Great texture. Terrible for you. Terrible for your health and well-being. Alright, I'll start the color. I've said it 10 times. Let's name this layer color. And I'm gonna try some stuff. Try to do this as fast as I can, but this is one way to color. I'm just using the polygonal lasso tool, and sometimes the polygonal lasso tool is annoying because it will, if you like double click on accident, it will just like close the shape and you have to Control Z and like redo everything. So you just have to be careful not to like click on the same spot, basically. But yeah, this is what I guess people call like flatting, like doing like the flat colors. At least that's what I called it in school. And so you can at least just get like those kind of fills in, and then you can experiment with different colors and like textures by using the Lock Transparent Pixels wafers. I'm going to do what I think are the colors I want, but I'm probably going to tweak them afterwards. I think I want either like olive or kind of hazmat suit, sort of orange for like these parts that that kind of look more like fabric. Very, very like Mars spacesuit. Maybe like Russian space dude. I don't know why. I feel like I have some image conjured in my mind of like old school like 60s space race era. I feel like Russian space uniform was orange. I could be totally wrong. Someone's gonna fact check me and tell me I'm wrong, but do it. I dare you. Excuse me. I'm listening to this artist called Space Art. It is different from the music that I have through the stream, unfortunately. I need to change up the music I have that I'm piping through the stream, because I realize people are probably tired of that like hour-long track that I've just been using for the past like year. But yeah, Space Art is cool. I couldn't play it because it's copyright protected, but I'm trying to get in the mood, the space mood. try out. No, orange and green are kind of weird colors to put next to each other, but I've been kind of into that color combination recently. I think I just like that it's like gross and weird, kind of like Halloween-esque. I want more of like olive green. I guess it's not too weird because if you look at the color wheel, it's kind of like, well, this isn't a color wheel, but it's kind of all in the same. It's like an analogous color scheme. It's all pretty close to each other. It's just like between orange and green, I'm just sort of using all the like yellow oranges and yellow greens. So that's actually not super weird. What is your go-to color scheme? I feel like mine, I think I tend to, like, the first thing I will, like, knee-jerk reaction is always, like, blue, violet, and usually kind of a gray, blue, violet, and then some kind of, like, pink, like, I don't know, pale pink. I've been moving away from that, but that was my go-to for a long time. I'm pretty, like, I understand complementary colors, that's very easy, but like also like a split complementary color scheme is pretty cool. I like that. I can wrap my head around that. I do not know how to make like a I think it's what they call it, like it's not triad color scheme, maybe it is, where it's just like three, you just divide the color wheel into like thirds and you can like move that around and like basically just get three colors that are like equidistant on the color wheel from each other. Like I don't know how to make a good color scheme out of that. Blue, purple, green. Yeah, I do like some cool colors. Triangle colors, yeah. Yeah, Adobe does have that one. I think I'm just gonna, like, I should just pop over there and look at it. Maybe I'll try to make a color scheme using that. Adobe, it used to be called Adobe Color with a K. into U, and I think they got rid of that. It's just called color.adobe now. Let's see. See if we can make a color scheme. Triad, okay. Let's try a triad. I was talking about it. I know you can like bring in. Okay, so I could bring in if I was really attached to this color, which I'm not. This kind of like yellow ochre. Copy the hex code and then go over to Cooler. And put it in there. That was very close to the one that was already there. Interesting. Okay. So here's the part that I don't get about this is it just allows you to crank down like the darkness or like make it a shade basically, but then I guess that's fine. I don't know, it's just confusing because it doesn't affect the other ones. See, this is whack to me. This color scheme looks like Garbo. Looks like an ice cream truck. How I do color. Dark. Get out of here. Alright, I'm gonna try a split complementary because this one makes more sense to me. Alright, so I want my main cooler to be this kind of yellow-orange. Very saturated. I want like tints of things. So I'm gonna try to drag these closer. See what? Why? Why can they do that? This doesn't make sense to me. That is not a split complementary color scheme. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think it is. Why is it so flexible? There's my split complementary. This program sucks. Double split complementary. Okay. Yeah, this is just making me mad. Alright, I'm gonna try. Adobe's gonna come after me. It's not you, Adobe, it's me. I love all your other products. In fact, some have called me the Adobe bro. Yeah, I do kind of just like choosing the colors, like you just see it on the page and you're just like, that feels right. I'm gonna give this a try, but I don't understand why these are just moving. Maybe that's a part of it. I'll just ride it. I'll let it ride. Alright, but I do want just like very desaturated. I don't like it yellow. Like green yellow. This is looking better. Oh my, so if I mess with that one, it really does some things. Okay, this is looking better. This is a weird scheme though. I see. So I feel like the orange is supposed to be kind of the accent. So I feel like I should use that more sparingly and then use these kind of colors. I'll try it. It looks weird. I will change the colors afterwards probably, but just to say we did it. Plus, I don't feel like I use red very often, and so it could be fun to change it up. Maybe I'll do the armor in that color. Okay, so block transparent pixels. I'm gonna copy this hex code. What is the color of my soul? That's a good question. Definitely a cool color. A cool color. A real rad color. No, like I'd probably say like a blue or a green. Blue-green. Excuse me. I mean, this way, if it looks bad, I can blame Adobe. So it's nice. It frees me up of responsibility. I should just make a swatches of this. Let's make a new folder. No, thank you. That's the same color. I'm sure there's a way where you export the color swatch and it comes in. I just thought about that. I'm sure they have a way where you export it as like a palette, but too late. I'm already doing it. As I'm over here just like mad at Adobe and they're just like, you don't know how to use our program. I'm never mad at Adobe. Please work with us, Adobe. I mean, they do. Just not me. Okay, well, it looks like a good color palette. And when it's small like that. I feel like I could kind of tweak it a little bit. Let's leave it as is for now. I'm realizing I would want that one to be a little darker, but it's okay. That's cool. Alright. Let's try the armor out. It's gonna look weird, I'm sure. Let's see. My chat window is closed. There we are. Looks pretty wild. Kind of into it. Let me try this other lighter one. This is definitely gonna be very like it's too like pastel. I think I just need to choose the colors. Orange? Let's try orange. I mean, it does have a weird like scuba vibe now, which like submarine, orange submarine, like tractor girl, which is kind of cool. I do want it to be like industrial looking, but yeah, I'm just gonna abort. I'll let Adobe choose this one orange color. There we go. Compromise. I do like that green. So they can keep their green. But yeah, the armor needs to change. I'm into this kind of green gray for now. It's very like, it's kind of like army colors, which I don't know how I feel about, but I think the orange kind of sets it off. Very inspired on this one by, well, I guess a few things, but definitely was feeling Death Stranding on this one. Metal Gear, Death Stranding, those, I think those are just always going to influence anything I do because I'm a big fanboy. What else? I think there was something I saw recently that yeah, I feel like you might be into it. Like, there's no better time to play it than now. Because it's like the more people that play it or have played it, like I mean, you're basically hiking around delivering packages to people, and you love hiking, so just do it on the PlayStation. And I mean, it's cool, like cool traversal stuff where you have to like set up little like ropes and ladders and different, there's like little vehicles you can use to make it easier, and like there's this zip line system you can build, which is when it gets really fun. That's a lie, you love hiking. And then like there's like it's like a Dark Souls mechanic, but you know, the more people that are online, they will like build certain structures to help you out, and like you'll be able to see those, a select amount of those structures in your world. And it also predicted COVID-19. So, yeah, I mean, it's a perfect game. It's all about, it's like a MMO where it's all about helping each other out. It's very wholesome. I also think you would. I'm surprised you haven't played Dark Souls because you like Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight is a Souls-like. It's, you know, Dark Souls is a 3D Hollow Knight, basically. You'd love it. We should play Dark Souls together. Yeah, that's true. And Dark Souls is the Dark Souls of Dark Souls. So you gotta go straight to the source. See what all these great games are inspired by. I've done it a couple times where, so they're hard if you play them alone. If you play with a friend, which is, I've honestly, like, Dark Souls 2 and 3, I pretty much did exclusively with, like, a friend, where you basically just summon each other into each other's worlds and do co-op and, like, beat the bosses together, and it's a lot easier with 2 people. Like, very manageable. I'm not, like, I think I played Bloodborne solo, and that was, like, my biggest claim as, like, a Dark Souls fan. Be like, at least I did that one game mostly solo, but it was, like, very frustrating, and I don't think I have the time for that anymore. But yeah, Dark Souls co-op, it's great. It's a great time. Oh yeah, I listened to that one, the Triple Click. Yeah, I mean, they said nice things about it too, though. They said, I think their part of them was like, if you play it with a friend, it's like playing on easy mode, which is totally true. But I won't convince you either way. We just have to wait for Elden Ring to come out, the mythical game. Yeah, I've been the same way. I haven't really, it's been hard for me to stick to a game for the last few months. Hasn't really been anything. Like, Hollow Knight, I think, was the last thing where I, like, put, like, some, like, 40 hours into it. But, yeah, I've been kind of the same deal. Yeah, I downloaded Control. And played like an hour of it. might go back to it, might not. It was cool. I will check it out again, or like I'll keep playing it, but it didn't immediately grab me as something that I'm just like, yes, this is my life now. Not that that's like a healthy way to play games, but you know what I mean. Oh yeah, Silk Song, right? I'm pretty hyped on that. I mean, I guess I should actually finish Hollow Knight. I think I'm at like, I think I only have to beat like one more dream boss, and I have 1800 essence, and then I can get like the cool ending, or like one of the cool endings. I'm definitely not gonna do the like, what is it, like 3200 essence, like there's like an even cooler one, right? I don't think I'm gonna do that, but Yeah, yeah. Final Coliseum boss. Oh, man, I did the first Coliseum like trial, and then it was like way too insane. I was like, nope. This is for those skilled players. Where I lost where I am in this. I'm trying to get. Okay. Let's see how this turns out. It haunts you. Yeah, it's frustrating. I definitely I had a lot of that with the Dark Souls series, where you just leave the game kind of mad. You just have to basically give up because it's just way too hard. Some of the stuff in Hollow Knight is insane. Like, I will never. Like, I'm not even gonna try to do the second Coliseum thing, so good on you. I think I tried it a couple times and I was like, I'm good. Maybe if I came back with the right upgrades or whatever. I was having trouble with the Lost Kin. Sorry to anyone who's not played Hollow Knight and is just listening to me ramble. The Lost Kin dream boss fight, and like that was giving me a really hard time, and then I just figured out, I like looked up something where you can just put on a certain charm and it just like deflects half of his attacks, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I would have felt better if I could have beaten it without that, but I'm just gonna take the easy way out here. I'm gonna. My goal is well, okay. Another aside. My partner Gabby and I have been playing a fair amount of this game called Don't Starve together, and it's been around for a while, and it's like a survival game where you have to like collect firewood and like. It's in this very like Tim Burton style, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it's a fun like co-op game because you're basically just trying to like scavenge food and like build a shelter and stuff like that. But there's a lot of like weird fantasy elements to it. The Lost Kin, yeah, was down in the abyss. He looks like you. He like looks like a little Hollow Knight. And sorry, I'm talking about, we're like changing subjects. Yeah, he looks like you, and he's like he looks like a little Hollow Knight, and he has a bunch of like nasty infected bits, and he's like shooting bugs at you the whole time. Yeah, the game is called Don't Starve Together. It's kind of weird. I would like look up a video of it first, because like I was actually a little put off by the art style at first. I mean, Tim Burton is great, but I was just like, huh, this is weird. Kind of like gothy, like, you know, like Hot Topic-y kind of vibe going. I don't know, like that might be a dismissive way of putting it. It grew on me, I will say though. So I like it now, but what am I But yeah, you're just like, it's like split screen. You're just kind of wandering around this world that's like procedurally generated. It's all like top down, very like 2D, cartoony. Like when night comes around, you have to like have fire, or else you basically get like killed from the darkness. Like there's like these like shadow hands that just come and grab you and auto kill you, and then yeah, there's lots of like weird animals around that you kind of have to figure out these like crafting recipes and like systems as to like how to build a farm, and I don't know, there's kind of a lot to it. It's been fun, but it provoked me into being like, I should look into Stardew Valley, because I feel like all the parts that I like about this game, I should just be playing Stardew Valley, and that game's co-op. So I'm like, build a farm with me, Gabby, and let's live the rural life. In an anime world. Alright. What else do I need to do here? I guess this like jetpack thing in the background, I feel like needs to be a different color though. Let's do it on a separate layer. Yeah, it's fun. It's also, yeah, you can play with more than 2 people if you're talking about Don't Starve Together. Like, the one thing about it is like there are parts that you just kind of have to look up, because you're like, how did I just die? Or like, there's like this one part where around like day 12 or day 13, like you'll just get attacked by these like waves of dogs, like wolves that come out of nowhere, and they just killed us. We had to restart it. We had to start over, and it was just like, huh, okay. It was a pretty easy solution. It was like what you would think, where it's just like you need to have like a set of armor that you craft, and you also have to like make a weapon, which makes total sense. But there's like some more obscure things where it's just like, if you don't build a lightning rod by day 13, like lightning will strike your camp and all your crops will burn. And I was just like, okay, well, didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I mean, basically, you die from just starvation, and there's like a sanity meter that you have to like keep up, and the way to improve your sanity is you like pick flowers. It's a weird one. It's been fun. We got into it. All right, I'm gonna try a different color for this armor. Too dark. They should redo Oregon Trail. I loved Oregon Trail as a child. I didn't even live in Oregon. We had Oregon Trail 2, which was kind of a weird art style. It used like photos, basically, and it like tried to animate. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat 2, I guess, or they were trying to make things realistic looking by just using photographs instead of like graphics or illustrations or whatever. Yeah, it was funky. Yeah, the best thing was like just naming your party after like one of each of your family members and or friends, and just like Rebecca was bitten by a rattlesnake and just being like, hey. favorite part was the hunting. I was a horrible colonizer of a child who was just like, time to shoot buffalo, and was just like, like just unloading into a stampede of like buffalo with like just like clicking rapidly. Like, I used all my ammo and I slaughtered 5 tons of buffalo and I could only bring back 20 pounds of it. Guess I leave it into the field to rot. That's, I mean, you don't really have that sense of ethics when you're like 5 years old or 6 years old or whatever, but it's pretty savage looking back on that. The rafting part was kind of fun too, where you had to like cross the rivers. There was like a little mini game where you're just trying to like evade like the rocks and whirlpools. Rafting and hunting. Just gonna raft and hunt my way to Oregon City. This is armor 2. What's going on here? Something where it's not like registering my color. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm not giving myself. I mean, like, the whole game is flawed. Um, I'm sure if you go back and look at it, there's probably some startling caricatures of people in there. Or something. I just can't imagine the 1990s game about settling west and being very like PC. Keep hitting the wrong button. I hit Shift 5 instead of Shift F5 on accident. I keep doing that and it like turns the fill down, which makes it like 50% opacity. It's messing me up. I originally wanted like all of the extremities to have like where it's like the hand, where it's like encased in glass, and like you can see her real hand, and like I was like thinking originally it'd be like have her shoes kind of like hooked into these like exoskeleton basically, where it's just extending all of the limbs. But maybe it's cooler if it's like asymmetrical. It's just one giant robo hand and then like screwdriver in the other one. Alright. Let's get some color on that. Well, we did the flatting. It's over. Took me all stream. Let me see. My AirPods are acting up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. A penny for your troubles, sir. Alright, I kind of want to look what... Probably going to end at 5. See what we can do here in the last 10 mins. Let's see what some kind of like glass would look like here. Thinking yellow. Maybe we use this weird sickly yellow that Adobe gave us. And then drop the opacity a little. Let's redo that. Turn the opacity down on the brush. And I'll leave like some areas showing through. And maybe like hit it with some white, or closer to white. I'm gonna make a layer on top of the line art. So I can kind of get through the line work there. Just do some real... let's try to get like a little closer to white here. Oh, thank you, Megan PDX. Glory. Glory on high. I need like a... I should maybe look at a reference for some shines here. How do the anime people do it? How do the anime artists do it with all their shiny stuff? That looks okay. I will keep that for now. But yeah, I think basically now that we have everything kind of mapped out, makes it a lot easier to just go in and be like, okay, let's lock transparent pixels on this whole kind of armor layer, and then instead of having to like color in the lines basically all the time, you can just go like sample this, basically just do your kind of shadows and highlights fast, and also you could like change colors. Let's see what just like a quick pass on the shadows might look like. It goes fast. We did all the hard work. Now we're just gonna do the fun stuff. I had this weird kind of bad idea for a series of illustrations that was like, what if maybe I'll do this for March of the Robots, which is the Inktober equivalent of March. But I was like, this I feel like would be like a Reddit post or something, that level of quality. Where I'm like, what if I made a mech that was like, each one represented a specific brand? So this would be like, I don't know, this would be the John Deere one. No, not really. I don't know what this would be. This would be like the Home Depot mech or something. And then put like a Home Depot like logo on the mech somewhere. I know it's like kind of cheesy. Carhartt mech. I feel like it would like cheapen it a little bit, but it would also just be funny and like maybe people would like it. Or it could be high concept and it would hang in galleries. You never know. Is it good or is it gimmicky and bad? I can't tell. Someone else has to tell me no. I don't know if I could bring myself to do it. Gimmicky and good. Okay. It could go either way. I maybe I should just stick to, like, maybe I just don't tell anyone, but then I'm like, but I feel like that's a weird place to draw inspiration from. Be like, the sprite mech. Like, I don't know, like, this one was fun just because it was like unplanned, and I just kind of like, these are really weird shapes that are going on, but I just sort of like stuck with like a shape theme. I was trying to make like these weird kind of like blocky but rounded shapes, and like that was my theme, and I just kind of rolled with that, and it made something that I think looks kind of cool. So I feel like I would probably just become not inspired at some point to like follow through with that theme, but it's a funny thought. It's just hard because you're always like, you see these like YouTubers who are just like, I redesigned the Sprite logo, and it has like 1 million views, and you're just like, this is the content people want. Art in a social media era. It's a tricky one. There's a podcast topic for y'all. Get real sad real quick. Just kidding. We're all about social media and art here. What are you talking about? I'm digging my hole deeper and deeper. Don't have me on the podcast. There you go. That's the answer. Oh, good. Okay. It's a topic of conversation that you're talking about. That's good. I'm glad I wouldn't imagine that you would not be talking about like real conversations like that. Yes. For anyone who's still watching, check out Homework Club. There's a link in the chat. We're going to be doing another session of Homework Club. It's every other week, starting March 4th, and it's a virtual meetup. It's like an hour and a half or so, and it's an accountability project-based meetup where you get to come up with your own project. It could be illustration, animation, design, 3D sculpting, anything that you want to get done and have some feedback on. And we basically just meet up every other week and check in where everyone's at on their project, and it's a good way to add a little extra motivation into your work regime. And yeah, we'd like to grow it and have it be a part of our programming, so check it out. It's free. Starts March 4th. We'll be posting more about it, so you have time to think about it. But yeah, we're excited to get going. I think that's gonna be it for me today. I'm having fun with these shadows. Let me just do the feet real quick. I'll just talk and work. Thank you for Megan. Thank you for Christopher. Thank you for us all. We'll be here next week on Twitch, and Christopher's gonna be doing Friday. He's gonna be doing some packaging design, some illustration for a beer label, is what I'm hearing. And Megan will be on Monday, early morning Monday, if you're on the West Coast. So blisteringly early at 8 o'clock in the morning. Be there if you're one of those morning people. I will be on Wednesday, and who knows what I'll be doing. It'll be a surprise. I haven't committed to anything yet. Probably animation. Maybe I'll finish this mech. I don't know. It'll be fun. That's all I can say. Thanks all. I'll be back next week. Check out Homework Club. Stay safe, stay warm. Yeah. Make some art this weekend. Goodbye.